So I went to graduate school in New York State, and they had a law in New York City that you had to have a certain percentage of new developments have. So that's specific to Idaho, that you can't enforce that on developers?
It's been attempted, and the state has come back and put the kibosh on it. The city of Ketchum and way down in the southeast corners of the state, it's been attempted, and the state comes back and puts it on.
Huh. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, that's interesting.
Well, and the other thing was too now, some of this, like where the trailer park is at, that's private property. And again, that opens another can of worms. And what you do on your own private property as far as providing water and sewer issues, I mean, this is, that is a whole nother ball of wax right there. I mean, whether you're working inside the city limits or whether you're working out in the county on your own property, it's two different birds. And the oversight there is pretty weird.
So I don't have any like specific suggestions for improvement here and now, but I want to talk about kind of the systemic issues at play here. I just finished reading a book called American Amnesia, How the War on Government Led Us to Forget What Made America Prosper.
Yeah.
Highly recommended, very good read.
Yeah.
And what I'm struck with is I'm seeing here is a microcosm of the forgetting of the role of effective governance. Now, is government always effective? No. Is it perfect? No. But government or similar organizations have a coercive power to help the lower end people in need, as you specifically mentioned, the DEQ, they basically just give a letter, slap on the wrist, and there's nothing to do. Whereas if they had more power, this could be avoided. I'm very also reminded of like Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. It's a very similar kind of thing. And so how do we rebuild that trust in public institutions to help and help people from voting against their own interests, but also help make sure that the increased government is effective?
There's a lot of core issues there. What was DEQ's mandate from the beginning? And it really is to hand out certificates of compliance to the state, whatever the state, considers a compliant level, and that's not much. And they will defend that to the death. And it's not for the benefit of the people in the park. It's for whoever applied for that certificate of compliance. And it doesn't matter whether it's McGard who runs a slum trailer park or if it's Potlatch. Okay, now if you think for a second that Potlatch is going to be an attainable target from someone who believes that they're polluting, look at what we're doing against one little slumlord who does nothing but drag his feet in court. Can you imagine going up against a team of lawyers designed to do nothing but make it impossible for you to sue them? And then DEQ is here to protect their right to that certificate of compliance. Once you hold that, man, you are protected. So it's really an issue.
It's really an issue nationwide. And just a minute, I know you want to say something, but over these past four or 5 years, I've been looking at this issue on a nation basis, and Syringa is the first time here in Idaho, and a lot of the politicians in Idaho don't know what to do except for one minor event that happened 2 or 3 years ago, but it was minor and everybody forgot about it. But as landowners have certificates and that the DEQ has appliance, this happens all over the nation. Syringa Trailer Park is just one entity out of 1,000 nationwide, and it's starting to be a trend nationwide, and that I feel, as this happening in our state, in our county, in our home, that we should look, maybe not tonight, but to have future conversations so it won't happen.
Can I add?
Yes.
See, the other thing that Syringa is...
But then he needs to speak to.
Okay. The other thing Syringa, and this is the part I really want people to try and get a good grip on. You have relative access to Syringa. Anybody in this room right now can get in your car and go for a drive through the Syringa. It's not a closed community.
What's gonna happen after?
Oh, my. No, you have relative access to this place. You can stop and take a picture of the sewer funds. You can look at the pump house. You can talk to the tenants, right? May not talk back to you, who knows? You're not going to walk into Potlatch and say, I'm going to be here for a few minutes hanging out over by the sewer pond. And I might take a sample while I'm down there. You can just try that sometime. You have relative access to this place, and you might even get cooperation from the people who live and work there. And and look at how much has gone on for as long as it has, and nobody said a word. And the people who do say something are managed, you're handled. And so to me, it's a symptom of a way bigger problem. And I wish I haven't gone back and done this yet, but somewhere on the internet there was these ads. Just before this was breaking out, Idaho was starting an ad campaign that they were going to do their best as a conservative state. If I remember, I'm trying to think back. You know how you are when you're making coffee in the morning, you got the radio going. They have groups that were going to do their best to lobby to circumvent EPA, because we are tired of all these regulations and laws that keep us from making our right to interfere with our right to make money. Well, and about that same time, they were running some campaigns on, well, we're going to be doing some oil and gas explorations on state ground. And while we're at it, let's look at all that federal ground that just sits there wasting away with all that overgrown grass and trees. And they tried their best to make it sound like a used car that nobody wanted. And we're going to just go ahead and take over that while we're at it. And I'm sitting here and having coffee in the morning, watching the sewer run down my neighbor's drive, in their yard, and I'm just going, what in the hell is going on? Really, we want EPA to not come in and help us here? And it wasn't long after that this all blew apart. And I have not seen much of this chatter since. And I always kind of wondered, was it Syringa that really put the kibosh on this? And then now I'm hearing that they're opening up an open pit mine in the Boise River drainage, for copper, and I can't remember what else. And then it's upsetting me because the same people that want you to believe that everything's fixed here are the same people that telling you that it's all going to be under control there, which is, by the way, if anybody doesn't know this, it's upstream from where we live. And these kinds of things, these disasters that they're building for our future don't ever go away. So, somebody might get a job today and that guy over there gets rich, but we're stuck with the toxic waste site until this planet can no longer be infested by humans. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I kind of like see these pictures and I can't make other people see them. And I go, well, look at Syringa. Let's look at how these people have tried. And to this day, I still have to be reminded, if there's ever been anything that the state of Idaho court forced him to do, he's still not compliant. He's still in contempt of court. He still hasn't fixed a bunch of things. I know he did, a lot of it was cosmetic. And he did fix the pump house, but this is the routine. I'll fix the pump house and the chlorinator, and I'll get my certificate, and then I go about my way. This is still going on. It hasn't stopped. And so to me, it represents a much larger problem. I hope that answers a few more of your questions, is that they're defending their right to set a standard that you will live by, not one that you want to live by.
And like asymmetries are hugely important, as Hacker and Pearson write in their book, The American Amnesia. They write that a big problem in today's society is information and argumentative asymmetry. Like, you've got the companies with the lawyers. The average Joe isn't going to be able to hire or even fight against that. So theoretically they're equal bargaining partners, but in practice they're not. And so this gets down, and all the laws have been changed, like free, quote, free market.
Yeah.
It's really just pro-money, pro-business. It's not.
It's a slip on words.
Okay, so.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Get a new voice in here.
Anybody else? I didn't see.